Welcome to the Black and Green podcast. It's your go-to place to find the latest high-quality, all-natural products created by Black artisans. Hosted by yours truly, Dr. Kristen H., the founder of Black and Green. We'll discuss all things health, wellness, self-care, and of course, self-love. This podcast features a refreshing lineup of guests, from entrepreneurs and artisans to holistic lifestylists and clean beauty experts, and a plethora of other innovators within the wellness industry. Join me as we learn from the best of the best. Hi, can you please introduce yourself to us and introduce your brand?
Sure. I'm Nathalie De Rose. I am the Chief Operating Officer at Vigor Roots. And I like to say that I would like to help women dealing with hair loss, lack of hair growth, or any form of unhealthy scalp issues that have not found any real remedy for their hair growth to come to me. I am growing a non-judgmental hub of scalp care, educational materials. And then my other vision is to create healthy, affordable, high quality products that will help them to prevent hair loss and preventable hair loss, because I have found that a lot of people who are experiencing hair loss, it's because of their lack of knowledge of scalp conditions and because of things that you're doing that could have prevented them to get to the stage where they are. So my company is Vigor Roots, vigorroots.com. And my goal is to help people to really practice proper scalp care.
So why did you get into this field? Why do you care about scalp care and hair growth? What drew you to this?
It's just like, I guess I would like to call it a building block.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe just like come from my background of like my technical background of always building on stuff. I started out just basic. I gave birth to my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She had natural hair. I had no idea what to do with it. Growing up, my mom didn't comb my hair. My aunts did it. And I didn't comb my hair. I went to the hair salon. So I had to figure it out. I had to figure it out for me. I had to figure it out for her. And in doing so, I realized there wasn't enough healthy products out there for our hair type. My scalp always burned. My hair never grew. And I did not want that for her. So I started to figure things out. And ever since 12 years now, I went natural. And my daughter, who is about to be 13, I started to care for her hair. I always blended my own products in the kitchen. And so for that reason, I started to build on it. And I'm like, what about everyone else? And it started internal. Like I looked at my aunts, I looked at my mom, my uncle, who started balding since he was young. But that's because he never washed his hair. Like literally at 20 years old, he was never using a shampoo, which is like the step one to scalp care. Just cleansing your hair with a proper shampoo and making sure you have no buildup from just basic environmental materials that are around us every day. Pollen, pollution, dust, dirt, allergens, everything that's around us.
Got it. So you were just trying to take an idea you had and turn it into a business, a company.
Yes.
What gave you the passion to do that? Why did you want to take something from an idea to a company?
The number one reason is the fact that I realized that a lot of people out there are not informed. And it's not because they don't want to be informed. It's just that there's limited information in our society. And I mean, if we think about everything else around us, it all evolves, right? We started out with the internet just being dial up to where it is today.
Right.
So it's just building on what we already knew. We all wanted beautiful hair. And so we started out with just taking care of the hair, not knowing that's the dead part of the head, right?
Mm-hmm.
The scalp is where the life is. And that's where we really need to nurture. It's just like our plants. Like I really love plants. And if you were to see my environment right now, I have a lot of plants. I water the roots, you know, I tend to the roots a lot. And that's really
we are
where
the same. I have a lot of plants too. I have about 24 plants.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. And, you know, just nurturing the roots of those plants, you see them flourish and they grow. No matter how much the leaves are dry and dead, as soon as the roots are nurtured and watered properly, they all flourish and grow. And it's the same thing with our scalp. What I've come to realize, there's so much limited research and study because our forefathers and mothers just didn't know. They didn't know that that's where we should have been starting. And it's our turn to help this generation and the generations to come to start building on new technologies, new technique, and just making it better for everyone else.
Got it. Mm-hmm. I love the passion that you have for your company, Vigor Roots. My question is, are you working on Vigor Roots full time, or do you also have a 9-to-5?
I do have a 9-to-5, yes. I commit to Vigor Roots full time because I believe in time management and efficiency. So for me, I don't do Netflix and chill, if you were to say, and binge on television and shows and stuff because I truly want to give people value and I'm committed to high end and quality. At some point, maybe one day, things will transition where I no longer have to be a corporate employee, but I truly love what I do in corporate also. My background is in technology. I completed a computer science degree and did a master's in data mining. So for my 9-to-5, I implement software, financial softwares, and I really love what I do. I enjoy working with the company and the group of people that I'm with. However, when I have conversations with women, and believe me, I've spoken to my boss about this, and I realized when I shared it with him, I was so lit up. I was like, wow, this is new. I hope he did not recognize this. But when I share my story with women and when I hear about their scalp condition and the journeys that they've been through, it touches me so much. And when I hear about their pain and what they've been through, and I come to understand, it's just that they just don't know. Like, you just don't know. Like, people would call me up and say, every time I wear a wig, my scalp itches. And it's just the basic, right? Do you think you're allergic to the wig? And they're like, I don't know. Have you ever explored that? Have you ever explored just like not wearing wigs for a year and try to understand that this is just not for you? It's just not a fit. And recognize that you're damaging your scalp for the sacrifice of the style. Right? Or other things, though, like when you think about putting a perm on your scalp or getting color on your scalp and you feel burns or you feel any form of irritation, did you ever pause to say, this is not normal? Right? I remember getting perms on my hair at the age of 12 and it burned. It was really painful. And they would tell me to stop crying. Stop crying. This is okay. And it was really bad. And I had sores and scars. Yes. There were sores and scars all over. Now imagine if I were to think about like my parents and my parents' parents who have gone through that for several years and no one ever told them it's not normal. They never stopped. They just kept going with this same treatment for 30, 40 years, 50 years even. And they're now 60 years old, 70 years old with a bald head. Damaged scalp from scalp inflammation. And they're like, what should I do? I have nothing left because the scar is just permanent. You have caused permanent damage to your scalp when it could have been prevented. So preventable hair loss is really something that I'd like to share with our community, that it's beyond just using natural products. It's beyond, getting, this healthy style of hair care. It's beyond that. It's preventable measures that you could practice that could make your hair healthy. It doesn't have to be about, using high end stuff or super expensive products. It's about what are the basic. Cleanse your scalp properly. Know when to say, you know what? Yeah, that's not for me. It's okay to not have your hair in blue and red and yellow and purple. It's okay to say, I don't need the weave. I don't need to have edge control. I don't need to have glued edges. It's okay to say, I'll do it once per year. Give yourself the permission to wear a nice style, to get the wig or the weave once per year, and know that for the rest of the year, you won't do it again, because excessive wear and tear will definitely damage your scalp. And it's a permanent loss that you'll suffer with for the rest of your life, right? How do you weigh out the, what do I call it? The loss, the gain and losses between what are you losing and gaining for a short term lifestyle.
When I heard you talk about kind of the motivation you have to question how you were raised, or question what you saw the people around you doing, kind of how did you do that? How did you get the courage to do something different? As we grow up, we're often bumping odds with doing something different than our parents or our family does around us, and making a different choice. So how do you find comfort when you're choosing something different, despite the fact that everyone around you chose the opposing viewpoint?
This is a great question. It's my personality. One of my friends would always call me up and say, I want to ask you something because you're always so honest. I'm like, really? It's one of those things where I just say whatever comes to my mind. I just say whatever comes to my mouth. I'm one of those bold persons who my boss will call me up and say, I'd like to ask you something. Because 9 out of 10, I'll just say exactly how I feel. And for that reason, I am able to exhibit that same mentality throughout everything I do. Like, I question everything, and I challenge everyone. It's the reason why I'm like, why are we so focused on what's going on with her hair? It's nice and everything, but what else is there? How does it start? Where does it begin? And when I dig deep and go further, and I realize, there is more to it. But it's just that we have not evolved beyond the hair. And it's, there is more research to come, I'm sure, but people have just been slow in going there. So for me, it's just a personal thing where I'm always challenging, how I do things, what I do it. I'm a Jamaican, and even in our cooking, if we use it a certain way, I'm like, how could I make this healthier? Right? If I really love to have something, how could I change it? So I'm always trying to evolve, because if I don't feel like I'm growing. That's my number one thing. I feel like constant change is growth. So if it's changing, I'm growing. And yeah, it's the same thing with scalp care.
I think what's also beautiful is constant change and constant learning. The idea that you are always a student. There's always something for you to learn, and to always be nimble enough to learn and change.
Agreed. Yes. I remember being described as nimble by one of my boss. She was like, "Oh, you're so nimble." I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Yeah, ever since you started," it was like 90 days into the job. It's like, "You've changed so much already since you've came here." I was like, "Well, it's productivity, right?" So being nimble is just a part of my personality.
Yes.
And it really what drives me and keep me going, makes me happy. If the month transitions with me accomplishing something new, changing something, driving some form of vision, then I know it's something great. And this is why I said, I work full time at both jobs. My full time job is a full time job, and Vigor
Yep.
Roots is a full time job
Yep.
because I'm still committed to both. I don't see the flexibility in, it's a 24-hour day. I am committed to my rest. I make sure I get 8 hours sleep, and that's it. But for the rest of the day, it's time management. I know I work from this time to that time, and the rest of the time, I break it apart for this company so that I could support and assist women and men who are experiencing severe scalp condition and they just are clueless. I truly believe if we educate younger women, like teenagers coming up from today, about preventable hair loss, they will be in a better space than a lot of women my age today, women who are older and even younger who have already damaged their scalp just from experimenting with different hairstyles and not realizing how much they could have done without knowing the difference between what is best versus what is pretty.
Now we will pause for a moment of meditation with Dr. Crystal Jones.
So wherever you are right now, just take a moment to be. Be in your awareness, be in your truth, be in your wholeness. Allow yourself to show up as light, dark, and every shade of gray in between. Feeling your presence, experiencing your truth. Finding your breath. And instead of directing her, listen to her. Ask her where she wants to spend more time and spend more time there. Ask her where she's stuck and go into the experience of why. Be in this breath, be in this movement, and continue to cultivate this experience through the rest of your day. Honoring that your truth and whatever you show up as is always enough. You are perfection and excellence personified. Anything that tells you that you're anything else no longer serves you.
What is your self-care routine? What does it look like?
My self-care routine includes a lot of things. Because of the nimbleness we just spoke about, and I love to be agile, I transition and change into several different self-care routine in order to keep me engaged and to keep me happy and healthy. My number one thing that I do is yoga. I love to do yoga. I do yoga and I meditate a lot. I also care and take care of my plants. I have maybe 30 something plants.
Oh my gosh, you sound like me. I love yoga and I love plants.
Awesome. I also have 6 orchids. They are my baby. And the number one reasons why it is because of the 6 orchids, 5 of them are 3 years old. And what a lot of people don't realize is that orchids, they grow back.
Gosh.
So many people buy orchids and throw them out. And what I'm so super proud of is that when the buds fall off, I cut the stem and I leave them to regrow, and they always do. And it's so great to see them because it's patience.
Okay, so the bud is supposed to fall off.
Yes.
Let me know, because I have an orchid out there right now. I think it's dying, but let me know. The bud is supposed to fall off, and then you cut it?
Cut the stem, yes. And once the stem cuts, you continue to water it as if it was budding. And this takes patience because a lot of people, when they don't see beautiful flowers, it's hard for them to appreciate it.
Yeah.
So you're seeing green leaves, you're seeing roots, and you're still watering it. Eventually, it will show you a nice, beautiful new stem. And once you see that stem, that's when you know you've nurtured your roots. Going back to my scalp care.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
and it's about to give you more beautiful buds, which it happens 3 years for my orchids. That has happened 3 years in a row, and it just feels so good to see those.
Mm,
In addition to that, I drink at least a half a gallon of water per day.
mm,
I read lots of reading on scalp care, on hair care, on personal development, on anything I could find. I do lots of reading and pray.
mm.
So this is how I keep up with my mental, my physical, and my emotional health.
Yes. What's your big dream? Where do you want to see Vigor Roots in the next 5 years? What do you want? What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish?
Uh, this is challenging to a challenging question. Um, so I would like to accomplish a product line where we are catered to scalp care,
Mm-hmm.
um, just basic, high quality products that are affordable to cleanse your scalp, moisturize your hair, and also treat any form of scalp care issues that you have. That's in 5 years. I'd like to know that we have a product line that's really high end but affordable for customers. In addition, I'd like to be the place where customers are able to come just to get information on what to do for scalp care. How do I prevent this from happening? I noticed this has been happening for the last month because a lot of things people haven't done because the hair covers the scalp. They don't recognize that they could start sooner, right? So how do I take my phone? I'm on it so many times per day and just take a picture, take a video, and examine my scalp. What should I be looking for where it's a red flag, but you think it isn't a red flag?
Mm,
And just recognize that, hey, I need to change this about my scalp. I need to change this about my routine because it's all about your routine, right? You get into this routine of continuously doing this thing and you're just creating more damage, more damage, more damage until it's like gone. So, how do we teach people and educate our community on when to stop looking for the signs so that you don't need to pay extreme dollars to a hair doctor to create more damage to your scalp by trying to do a hair transplant or something like that when it gets
mm-hmm.
later in life. Yeah. So that's where I'd like to be in 5 years.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome that you have this big vision that it's not just about your product being successful, but it's changing how we interact with our scalps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's and this is why I said it's really tough because it means that I would need to be able to break through mentally to a lot of people for them to change their habits,
Mm,
and conditioning them into appreciating a different way and a different form of accepting how do you care for your hair. And a lot it's really hard, just like educating people on why are you so focused on your hair, just understanding that if you just like moisturize your scalp with something that's nourishing and healthy, you will see the results. You will definitely see the results. And it just goes back to my orchid conversation just now. I just water the orchid roots without any stem, without any buds on
mm,
it.
mm-hmm.
And it gives me a new flower every year. So yeah. It's really hard. It's really a tough challenge to try to educate people on that.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Tell me, what is your hair care process look like?
I keep it very simple, and I've been doing this now for 1 year. And the reason why is because I want to proof out my own concept. I used to be that YouTuber who goes through the deep treatment, the hot treatment, the um, pre-poo, the I can't even go through all the processes, but I keep it very simple. And here's what I do. once per week, I wash my hair with a clarifying shampoo. And I only apply the shampoo to my scalp and I massage it really, really well. Really, really scrub my scalp, get any form of dirt, grease, form of buildup from my weekly routine off my scalp. Then I condition my hair. I apply the conditioner directly to the ends, roll it up to the scalp, and massage it in. Only my hair. Condition it, condition it, condition it, get it nice and soft. Then I apply my Root 22 serum directly to my scalp. I apply it on damp hair. It could be applied on wet, dry, damp, any form. I apply on damp hair because I don't need my hair wet to apply it. So I get it through my entire scalp, massage it in, and then I twist my hair out or braid it out. And I leave it like that in protective styles for the week. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to make sure I have a simple process that I'm maintaining that keeps my hair nice and healthy. And it has been proven to be very successful. My hair has never been so healthy.
I think what you said about having a simple process that I can maintain is so important. Know your limits, know your boundaries, know what you can do. I, on the other hand, have cut all my hair off because I have no boundaries.
Yes.
I can't do this. This is too much work for me. So I was like, let me just cut it all off. I can either get it wet and just go in the shower, do quick shampoo, and roll out. That works for me. Like a longer process of twisting and I couldn't do it. So I know I could not do that. So I cut my hair off.
I agree with you. And this is what I would like everyone to embrace. I remember people would see my hair and said, "Oh my gosh, it must be so much work for you to go natural." And I was like, "No, it's not." Again, it goes back to time management because I would be like, if I spend an hour in front of the TV each night catching up on news or just my fun show to watch before bed, that's when I grab my brush and my gel and twist my hair out. It was, and that was way back when I started to go natural. I would always improvise on my time. I wasn't carving out extra time for hair. No, I would never do that. I would use my productivity.
Yep.
I would improvise on, okay, what else am I doing where I'm not using my hands? Let me do my hair at the same time too. So I agree. A simple process. Yes. And this is what I'm trying to educate people on just understanding you don't need to do the bells and whistle to maintain a healthy scalp care routine or to have beautiful hair. You don't need to do that. It gets overwhelming when you go on YouTube and you see you spend 2 hours into videos and you see all these luscious hair and they're telling you to mix your own ingredients with 20 different stuff, then go through the process of a half a day of wash day, and you're like, you can't maintain it. You'll never be able to maintain it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. With my hair length and it's 18 inches, I take an hour. I've broken it down into an hour because that's how much time I have to give.
And you're not only making it hair time, you're doing other things during that time. That's what's beautiful about it.
Yeah.
That's what's absolutely beautiful about it. But thank you so much for joining us and talking about the story behind Vigor Roots and how it was created, your main goal of what you're trying to achieve.
So I had this whole vision for 2022. And this is, again, goes back to my personality. I had documented a whole bunch of things that I'm manifesting for 2022 all the way since October. This is me. By November, these were all documented. I was ready. And on January 1st, when I met up with my yoga group, this is Black Yoga community, we were meeting up for our yoga manifestation, and I thought we were going to discuss these goals, so I was ready, right? And the woman who runs the program said everyone should share the word that they wanted to share for the year, and I was like, wow, I'm taken aback by this. And she said the word is love. Well, I said my word is love, and the fact that I've chosen to have a word for 2022, since then I've been showing up in that form. Everything I do, however however way it comes, I've just decided that no matter what happens, I'm going to show up this way. And this is how I'm going to exhibit for everything that I have in my life. So when I had this podcast scheduled for today, typically I would bake it into a schedule. I just spoke to you about time management.
Yes.
And so I would, I have a time set out to have it. We're going to meet together for an hour, and then I was going to work in between my full-time job. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take the day off. I'm going to give myself permission to do that because I'd like to be prepared. I don't want to feel rushed. I don't want to feel like, anxious about it. And I did that. I gave myself permission to show up with love, love for me, love for Vigor Roots, and love for my job, because I wanted to make sure everyone got 100% of quality.
Yes,
And
got your best self.
Yes. I wanted to make sure everyone got 100% of quality. And it feels so good, because it feels like I'm giving love. I'm giving love on this podcast today. I gave love to my job by not showing up 100% of me. And I'm giving love to Vigor Roots by committing to the cause.
Yes. My word for the year is ease.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah, that's the word for me, is ease. Just not to be so wrapped up in everything and try to push everything really hard. Just ease. Just go into comfort, be nimble, let things change, be flexible, don't get frustrated, don't get in my own way, just ease. That's my word of the year, is ease.
Awesome. I love it.
It was so great talking with you.
Yes, it was good talking with you too.
Thank you for tuning into the Black and Green podcast. Did you have more questions for our special guest? Please leave your questions in the comment section. Also, check us out at blkgrn.com. Please subscribe and comment. We love hearing from you. Until next time, buy Black and live green.